Welcome to the ABQ Accent, where catalysts, innovators, and risk takers share what their accent is on their work. Like a spoken accent, we all have an inflection or emphasis on where we put our energy. Join us to learn how these folks are putting their accents to work, building their vision of the future, and how you can get involved. Hello, and thank you for being with us today. My name is Mariah Harrison, and this is the ABQ Accent. I'm here with Ramiro Estrada, and he is a peer support worker with ACS. Thank you for being with me today.
Of course, it's a pleasure on my end, definitely. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a number of things primarily around your life experience and how it came to be that you were partnered with ACS and your role there. So talk to me a little bit about your background and what brought you to the peer support worker program.
Well, just a little of my background. Originally from East Los Angeles. I've been here in Albuquerque for about 7 years, going on 8 years. Came from a background of, experiencing violence in the streets of Los Angeles. It was very hard growing up, especially growing up without a father. I had my mom that I love her to death. She was a big part of my life, bringing the good into me. Yeah. And then ended up out here in Albuquerque, it was at first just to come and visit and see how things are. And then it spiraled to other things as well. I can't say that I was always an angel. I've lived the life that I lived, and being where I'm at now, looking at it, I'm just grateful how things happen, and then now getting with ACS, it was just a blessing on top of that, getting the opportunity to work with ACS and the Violence Intervention Program. From my past experience to, use that in a positive way, it goes hand in hand with each other on that. So I'm grateful for that.
And we're grateful to have you too.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It feels like you might simplify some things unnecessarily or maybe naturally because you feel like the cards just sort of fell in your favor and you're in the right place where you need to be. Tell me a little bit more specifically about what VIP does and what your role is.
Well, with VIP, the Violence Intervention Program, we're kind of more concentrate on the victims of gun shootings that have experienced being shot, or people that have been identified as individuals in the city of Albuquerque that have prior cases of gun violence and things like that. And with us in the VIP, we kind of look at it as also a mentorship. Able to speak to these individuals, if it's youth, if it's individuals in their 20s or 30s. I mean, I've came across individuals that are in their 40s, and they're still out there in that lifestyle. They're still out there, making excuses for themselves as why they can't progress or, better themselves in life. Because, I got a prison record, I got tattoos. And I'm like, I got a prison record, I got tattoos, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't stop me to progress myself, So with VIP, we're giving that opportunity for ourselves to show the individuals in the city of Albuquerque that you can still do it. There's opportunities. Right. There are resources. You can go back to school. We can find you jobs that hire ex-felons, You just can't stop and say, my life is done because of that. It's more giving them that push, like, hey, we're here. We understand. We've been there. We've done that. And here's the opportunity to join forces with us. If it's not working with VIP, it's saying, hey, VIP showed me this way. Yeah. VIP showed me a different way of jobs, looking for jobs, not out on the streets, selling dope and guns and whatever. VIP is actually bringing me resources where I can use to help my family. That's kind of a little sense of
Great.
VIP.
And I want to get into some of those resources and some of the framework. But also, the way that I discovered you was because the ACS program put out on their socials a celebration of Second Chance Month in April. And so you were highlighted as one of those individuals. And I would recommend anybody else to go to the ACS page to check out that social. It's just a brief, it's a teeny tiny window into the world and what you're doing now. Yeah. So what is it about that? I wonder if I'm the only person who's reached out to you since that highlight. And what is Second Chance Month?
Yes, you have reached out in the sense of, being here where we're at, speaking about that. But I've got random people be like, even on the street, they're like, hey, weren't you on that video on ACS? And I'm like, yeah, hey.
Hard to miss.
Yeah, hard to miss, right? So, but it's cool. It's awesome being acknowledged for something like that. It's just it's so cool. You know, it brings joy and positivity into my heart, like saying, you know what, yes, this is the route I want to go with. And that going in with the Second Chance Month, it's just showing that, you know, one, not that we have that second chance, because we should always be able to have that chance regardless of what, right? But thankful to ACS acknowledging it though, meaning that, hey, you know, here's Ramiro, here's Denise, you know, people that have gone a different road in their life.
Yeah.
It didn't stop them from what they're doing now, you know? So giving us that chance, and you giving me this chance right here, you know, able to speak and put that out there and voice it. I hope people from all different aspects of life, wherever they're walking, wherever they're at, to be like, wow, he got the point, you know? Like, I didn't think of it like that. Because sometimes people, I'll walk down the street and some people look at me like, oh my God, look at him with all his tattoos and stuff, right? And then I'll get an older lady like, oh, come here, mijo, let me see your tattoos. You know, so it's like, it depends, you know? But for people to really see who one is inside, I think that's the best thing right there, you know? Giving people the chance to show who they are, just like ACS did, giving me the chance to do what I'm doing, to work with the community, to work with those that, I mean, walking down Central where you have people all in their addictions and things like that. Like, I love to do that. I love to be there and like, hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? Let me talk with you a little bit, you know? So giving us that opportunity and giving us that chance to show what ACS and VIP and all the other departments, I mean, you know, Cora, the BHRs, the outreach team, everybody with ACS, you know, we're all doing it for a purpose, you know, and that's to better the city of Albuquerque.
I appreciate that too, on all the levels. And I think, and also BHR is Behavioral Health Resource? Responder.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the idea of second chance is not just what are you going to do after you've been in prison or experience this piece of your life, but it's an internal recognition that you get from others.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, and that's why I say to me, I'll take it as giving me the chance to voice that, giving me the chance to show that. It's just, it's a blessing, you know, because how are people going to see if it's not acknowledged? You know, it's like, oh, wow, this is what these people are doing now. And this is what the city's doing. Like, that is awesome in itself, you know, and everybody has different opinions and things like that. But, you know, we stand firm and we stand strong in what we're doing with ACS, and we're just going to keep pushing forward and prove that, you know, we're here for a reason and we're going to make that reason happen. Yeah.
So ACS reached out to you partially in recognition of your ability to reach the people that they wanted to reach. So I want to get a little more tangible in like, what is the experience of a peer support worker in VIP? You're reaching out to schools, but you're also reaching out to people that aren't in the schools. I don't even think there's an average day. What maybe have you been up to this week?
Yeah, no, I mean, this morning was kind of crazy. There was an individual that was, you couldn't, I guess, basically say mental health was a big issue of it, you know? His yard was just completely trashed, tagging on the wall. And it's like, you know, for a community and for a neighborhood, like who would want that, you know? So, you know, we were going with APD, solid waste to try to, you know, help clean up, you know, clean the area up, things like that.
Was this a private property, if I may? Or was this just somewhere?
What was it? I believe so. But just wanting to help, you know, because it's, the community is not wanting to look a certain way, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know, being to places where houses were filled with 8 people smoking fentanyl, smelling up the whole community in itself, you know, people that, you know, were recently shot, you know, I go to a lot of those people that were just recently shot and having that trauma with them, you know, inside. So we try to go in, if it's therapy, if it's, you know, giving them an opportunity of finding a job or doing something with themselves, you know, not just staying in that trauma and just embracing it. We kind of want to help get them out of that trauma, you know? So, I mean, there's things that, there's times I'm like, wow, did I just see this? Did I just experience this, you know? But coming from my background, you know, a lot of times things don't surprise me, you know? So just to able to go into it and just say, hey, you know what? This is the purpose and this is the reason why we're here. that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Just go on in there.
It's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
But it sounds to me like you're reaching them at one of their lowest points at a critical moment when you can provide a voice and some, for lack of a better word, resources to help them move out of that. Like we were saying earlier, how do we work them out of the low spot? What are the steps they can take that you can be there for them?
Yeah, no. And that's one thing, let's be honest, it's hard to trust.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays it's hard to trust people, sometimes their own family, their own partners, but what helps us, especially with, the lived experience, the VIP people, we're able to be like, hey, you know what? I know I'm not feeling exactly what you're feeling, but I can tell you my story and say, I can relate to what you're going through. Mm-hmm. If it was not me, maybe a relative of mine, a friend of mine, because growing up in my lifestyle, the way I was, I've seen a lot.
Sure.
I've there's times where, till this night, I got to sleep sometimes with the light on just to go to sleep, or hear a fan just to hear noise. And I forgot where I heard it, that they were saying that deals with like traumatic events, PTSD and things like that, But it's just soothing for me for certain things. So for me to be able to tell people like my past and, hey, I'm not embarrassed to share my story with you, they get more comfortable with me and they open up.
Feeling vulnerable myself, I will say. But I want to also, give a little more clarity to the larger perspective of the intervention. I don't think, it's called peer support worker for a reason. It's because if you're coming at somebody with a particular perspective, you are a peer of theirs, whether it's age or education or not. It's the life experience as a peer.
Definitely.
And once you can communicate to that perspective or that openness, that you're also willing to be vulnerable with them, that it's like a seed of trust.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Because like I said, it's hard to trust, and so when you do get that, and from my personal opinion of it, I want to cherish it. I don't want to hurt that. I want to make sure like, all right, I got this. Okay, let's continue to nurture it. Let's plan it. And it's motivating in itself, but I do tell a lot of individuals like, there's only so much I can do though, because the bigger part, it's you doing it. I can bring you the resources. I can guide you to the right doors. I can try to help you close certain doors that haven't been benefiting you in life, but ultimately at the end, it takes for you to do all of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Are there folks that you've been working with, maybe that you've met with like them at that critical moment and then have been working with them for a couple of weeks or a couple of months? What does it look like? Yeah,
no, it's really cool. Man, having the opportunity to see them from where they were at to where they were going and then get to where they wanted to be. It's like even those short-term goals. If it was, I haven't had a job in years and we get them a job, or I didn't think about going to school. Now they're going back to school, especially a lot with the youth. There was kids that their grades were at D's and F's and their grades rose up to B's, almost A's, It's phenomenal in itself because you're like, wow, I don't want to take the credit for it, but just know that I helped about it. The pleasure of it is saying, yes, this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing, and we need to continue, and we need to get even more people involved into it, because at the end of the day, we all live in the same community. Maybe one's in this part, one's in that part, but at the end of the day, it's still Albuquerque, it's still New Mexico, and who's going to make it better but the people that live in there?
Right. I agree. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. And so to that point, who else does VIP work with in the community to sort of help people along that experience? Well,
I go out with there's two detectives with APD that I go out on calls with. APD has been a good thing with us as well. Contacting individuals that have been shot, experiencing violence in their life. A lot of other city individuals that we come across. The schools have been so, for them to open the doors for us to speak to the youth the way we do, it's a big plus.
Yeah.
Because there's times where we'll get to the assemblies and the kids are all wild up, and once we start speaking and they hear us, just like, they're like,
right.
wow.
For sure.
Like, what? Like, for reals? And then at the end of the thing, it's like, Mr. A, like, you touched me. You reminded me of my dad. You reminded me of my brother. Now it gives me more hope that I know there can still be change for them. And I'm just like,
wow.
The first one I did, I was like holding my tears. I'm like, whoa, like this is really serious, you know? And even I remember that first time doing that. That's when I was like, I got to do this. Like, I have to do this. Like, there's so much that I can bring to these individuals that who knows what it could spark.
Right.
In a positive way, definitely.
And you started out as a volunteer, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then you came into the full-time?
Yeah. And that's why I said, like, knowing when I first came and volunteered, I was like, all right, this is cool,
Maybe.
you know? Yeah. But then once I started getting more deeper into the work and then just started seeing the progress from it, I was like, I got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had my old job that I was working with waste for 6 years, and, you know, I was fine. I was in my own work truck. I didn't bother nobody. Nobody bothered me. But to do this, there was just more of a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
To do what I'm doing with ACS, to do what I'm doing with Albuquerque, it brings purpose. I mean, I have my daughter and my son here that I'm raising as well. And this is their home too. So why would I want to contribute to that?
For sure.
I want to be able to say, I'm in the city, I'm in the community, I'm helping, I'm doing this, you know, because a lot of times, especially when you get into the youth, they were just misguided, or even people that are already in their 20s and 30s, they didn't have their parents, they didn't have a dad,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so we will never be able to fill that void, but to say, hey, it's not over yet, you know, we can still do something different about it. It brings a lot of purpose into my heart doing this.
I feel like you use that language with them too. It's like you walk the talk. Yeah. Because you really believe that this isn't the end. We can start over. We can try new things, and that you're not alone.
No, and definitely, and lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one thing I was always told. It's lead by example. People are watching, whether you think they're not. People are watching. People are paying attention. You know, so I would always hold myself in the most respectful manner. I would always hold myself knowing that what I'm doing to the best of my ability. Mm-hmm. You know. And always open for, you know, learning, you know, because we can always learn from individuals. We can learn from our coworkers and things like that. You know, yeah. I'm never the type where like, oh, I know everything. No. Mm-hmm. I want to learn. You know, I want to further my education. You know, I want to continue going back to school and things like that, so I can get more of the things that I can use with my work, mm-hmm. and as well as with life. You know, I mean, what's wrong with bettering yourself in any type of way? That's how I see it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so you're setting the example, but you're also building a true sense of belonging for yourself and your kids in the community. And that's like a cyclical example of I belong and so do you. And how can we work together to build this community so that we all have that mindset of growth? Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I've said before, I've already matured like about 5 years ago. I was like, you know what? There's always room for growth. Mm-hmm. And that's why I would always say, even being in a mature state of mind, and especially now with this work that I do, it's like, you know, sometimes I got to stay, you know, very focused in what I do, you know, because let's be real, there's sometimes you get these individuals that are in the negative about things, and I can't let that distract me from what I'm trying to do or steer me off of the course that I'm in. I'll hear it. Okay, that's your opinion. Right. Keep going.
A lot of this is about mindset. And I think the first time we were talking, you and your colleague Francisco had mentioned that when you're in a position of that particular conversation, or really anyone, you sometimes have to remember the darker parts of your memory so that you can translate experience to what other opportunities are there. And what you're talking about is very real and it's very heavy. So how do you not get out of that place, and not even compartmentalize it, because I think to a sense that's disrespecting the experience.
Yeah.
How do you stay grounded, do things fun? What do you do outside of work that kind of keeps you not just motivated to do the work, because I think we've talked about that already, but where's your, I don't know, entertainment?
So entertainment for me, for sure, right now consists of the gym. That's my entertainment. It's like, even after this, as soon as we leave here, I'm gonna go take my pre-workout straight to the gym, get my 2 hours of working out, and I feel good, you know. But, you know, especially with that past, especially with things that do come to mind, the gym has been such a wonderful experience for me, because coming out of the gym, I'm just like in this different feeling, like, oh my God, mind, body, soul. It just feels fulfilled.
Yeah.
And then I get me a nice, good, healthy meal after that. Get home, by the time I shower up, refreshing myself up, and then just, there goes 12, 13, 14 hours of the day. It's like, now I'm relaxed. I love hiking. I love going hiking. I'm actually gonna go Saturday, go hiking. I'm not gonna lie, TV is a good thing at times, just to unwind and not have so much of your thoughts like, I need to do this, did I do that right? Or, I just don't want to think. I just want to be like, oh man, look at that movie. That's pretty cool, But also calling my mom. I like to call my mom because she lives in Los Angeles,
Call your mother.
Yeah, I'm a mama's boy. It is what it is, I'll call my mom, sometimes every other day, sometimes every day. If it's 30 minutes, it could be 2 hours. Just knowing that from what my mom's been there in my life, just to know that she's still there, it's a blessing knowing that I could hear her voice.
For sure.
Because I know there's a lot of people that lost their moms, their dads, individuals. So I don't like to take things for granted. So if I can hear that voice, my kids hear their voice, it brings joy for my day.
It is really very special, because even if they have them, they might not have that relationship to talk so much, to rely on each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then growing up without my dad, I just know the feeling that I never want them to have to experience that, So I always keep that communication very tight with them. Yeah.
And communication tight with some of your colleagues.
Yeah.
As like peer support
out
there too.
Hey. And you know what? That's definitely something we practice amongst each other, Me and Francisco, me and Daya, we can entertain ourselves all day, every day. Teresa that's there with us, she helps, when we need people to speak to. She's such a very important woman into our department right there, that we're able to speak to her as well when we need that time to share.
Is she one of the therapists or counselors for staff?
Yeah. She's there on site, and I got nothing but love and respect for that lady.
For sure.
I was able to just pour it out and come out of there feeling a whole different type of way, So God bless that lady. I appreciate her, but
kudos to her. Maybe she likes chocolate or coffee.
Something. I want to have to dig more into that and find that out.
The rest of us appreciate her too. For the work she does for you guys.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
Yeah,
amazing lady.
Is there anything else you want to add about the VIP program, or maybe how people can be supporting it at large?
Putting it out there by any ways, VIP, still fresh coming into this, VIP still has its work to go, and, just doing the work that we're doing, it's great for those people that do acknowledge us and say, hey, we're glad you're doing what you're doing. But we would like to put it out there more, because more people need to hear about VIP, ACS, all the departments under ACS. Just to hear it more, because it helps with APD, it helps with AFR,
right?
What the calls that they're not getting because ACS is there not taking a lot of these calls.
Right.
It helps, and the resources they're there, but just to have people having our backs in this, at the end of the day, we're people, and all we're trying to do is help our people. I mean, if we're not going to help our people, who's going to help them? So being that we're out there in the trenches, we're out there in the how they say, the war zones and all this, whatever, it's still our people.
Right.
Just because he's homeless or he's in an addiction or she's over here lost, like they're still people at the end of the day, So it's a matter of us helping them out in any type of way. And I'm going to stand by VIP till the wheels fall off.
But because it's one of several approaches that we can work on to address the challenges. And I just feel like maybe plain talk is you don't need to be hearing any of the challenges towards you guys, because you're doing the work every day and you see what the needs are.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we do, and sometimes it takes for someone to maybe say they weren't liking VIP or they weren't liking ACS, but then they see something that what they did to benefit helping someone else is like, maybe VIP is good. Maybe ACS is good, And I mean, like I said before, let's live in reality. Humans are humans, and some people are going to have their certain feedback or feelings towards it. But we're here,
Mm-hmm.
and we're here for a purpose, and to everybody out there listening, VIP, ACS, we're nothing without the city. We're nothing without the people,
Mm-hmm.
So let that be known that that's what we are here for. We
Right.
are here for the people, and we are here for the city of Albuquerque.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, if you started out as a volunteer, do you know if they're still accepting volunteers or looking for any of those roles?
We are trying to grow. VIP is trying to grow, and I'm sure with all the other individuals in the departments, we're trying to go. It's just, I guess, finding the right people.
Yeah.
You just don't want to put anybody out there like that. But I know in its time, we are going to be growing. We're just in hopes finding the right people to help us out with that venture. So I guess fingers crossed.
Yeah. Maybe they'll come to you kind of in the way that you found.
Yeah.
Just sort of the path.
Hey, you know what? I'm a strong believer in my God, and I just feel that God has a purpose for so many things, and we probably don't see it now, but when it does happen, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it was this time it needed to happen, But I do have faith that VIP and ACS and all the other departments will continue growing and to help the city.
Yeah, I do too. I really believe in what they're doing, and I also really believe in the idea of prevention. That responsiveness is prevention in action.
Right.
So I'll just wrap with another positive thought, and that our previous conversation, we kept kind of going back to that idea that if you believe you're in the right place, if you believe that you're in a place for a purpose, that purpose only grows and gets stronger, and you're helping the people around you if you're in a positive mindset like that. And that you said you were planting the seed for these youth to believe that they have another path, and that you always wanted to be working towards the positive. So I hope that other people hear that perspective, and not just you, but in this work as a whole, because I really think that that's kind of where that nugget is of the belief in other people's potential and value as humanity, that there is another path, that there are opportunities for positivity everywhere you look.
I mean, look at the internet. Some people will be like, was that real? Did this exist? It's just a matter of looking and finding it, and positivity is all around, but it takes us to put that out there. How are people going to really know? So by us continue pushing positivity, by us continue pushing the purpose and what we're doing, that's how they're going to know.
Right.
Being out there in the streets, boots on the ground, that's how they're going to know. Things like this, podcasting, social network, that's how they're going to know. So I think it's
just pay attention.
Pay attention, yeah. And there's a big value into the tools. I mean, this right here, being here, it's a tool, because using this tool, look at what it's doing. It's spreading it out. So as long as we can use that in the positive, productive way, they're gonna hear it.
Right on.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. We're putting it out to the universe.
Amen to that.
So I know that this isn't all that you do, and you mentioned to me that you're interested in traveling. Tell me where you want to go and why.
Ooh, I want to go to Greece. I don't know, Greece, Athens. The waters, the blue waters out there. Maybe these hotels that I was seeing where you can just from your room jump into the pool and go out. I was like, I'm like, oh man, I gotta definitely do that. Italy, I want to eat some pizza in Italy. Go look at the Eiffel Tower and all this other stuff. Rome. I mean, the list keeps going and going. So I stay positive that I'll get to at least, if not see all, at least a good part of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm on a similar path than you. I'm going to add Spain to that list.
Oh, Spain.
Yeah.
There you go. That sounds pretty good.
And I'll add Ireland to your list.
Because there's different. Wait, which one's the other ones that are different? It's Greenland and
Iceland. They're opposite.
They're opposite, right?
You have to.
I was like, why? That doesn't make sense. But hey, when I was looking at them too, I was like, damn, those places look pretty cool. I want to go see that. But China too, because I love Chinese food. I want to eat Chinese food in China.
Well, while you're in that region, go to Japan, because the Japanese people are beautiful. And
my son wants to go to Japan.
Yeah. So, graduation gift.
Yeah, right. There you go. What you want, son? The car or Japan?
Yeah.
Which one?
Right on. Well, I appreciate just your time and your enthusiasm and your belief in our community.
Well, I thank you for giving me this opportunity, for you, the staff here, making this happen. And, I'll stay positive that I'm not the last.
For sure.
That we continue to get more and more people that are on that grind and that positivity value. And hey, let's make Albuquerque better.
That's it.
Yeah.
So thanks again to Ramiro, and also thanks again to the Bloomstone for loaning us this beautiful crystal today. Hit them up, they're downtown. And for those of you that are listening, we hope you come back for another ABQ Accent.